Okay, so today we are going to see or we are going to learn few practical problems or numerical problems which are really important from exam point of view of marginal costing. So let us take one question based on marginal costing, which was asked in the past papers. So Lakshmi, please copy this question along with me in your book. Copy this question along with me. You might be knowing all the formulas, so I'm not explaining you the formulas, directly solving the problem. Any doubt, any query, you can chat with me. Okay. Have you copied this question? Lakshmi, have you copied this question? Okay. So let us try to understand this question. From the following data, calculate first profit volume ratio. We will have to calculate three things. First is PV ratio. Second, profit when sales are rupees 60,000. And third, new break-even point if selling price is reduced by 20%. The information which is given to us is fixed expenses rupees 12,000 and break-even point rupees 30,000. Now let us try to understand PV ratio. Do you know the formula for PV ratio? Yes, Lakshmi, I was asking you, do you know the formula of PV ratio? What is the formula for PV ratio? Yes, contribution. Very good. Contribution upon sales into 100 is the formula for PV ratio. But if you see the whole question, we don't have contribution, right? So we won't be able to calculate PV ratio with the help of this formula, contribution upon sales into 100. Then how to calculate? There must be some information in this question by which we will be able to calculate PV ratio. Let us try to find out. We have only two information with us. One is fixed expenses, second is break-even point. Fixed expenses, only with the help of fixed expenses we won't be able to calculate PV ratio. Break-even point, do you know the formula for break-even point? Formula for break-even point. Fixed cost upon PV ratio. Very good. Excellent. So this is the formula for break-even point. If you want to know break-even point, you will have to apply this formula. But break-even point is already given to us, 30,000. So fixed cost is also given to us, which is 12,000. The only thing which we don't have for break-even point ka formula is PV ratio. So with the help of this formula, we will be able to calculate PV ratio. So let us try to calculate PV ratio. So let us start our solution. Start solving along with me. First, we are going to calculate PV ratio. And for that, we are going to use the formula of break-even point. So this is the formula that we have for break-even point. This is the equation that we have. The amount of break-even point is already given. So we can take 30,000 is equal to fixed cost. Fixed cost is already given in the question. 12,000 divided by, we will have to calculate, we don't have PV ratio, so we are going to calculate PV ratio with the help of this equation. Therefore, PV ratio is equal to 12,000 divided by 30,000 . Now how we have done this, PV ratio, this will go that side, so it will multiply, so it becomes 30,000 into PV ratio. Then this 30,000 again will come here, 30,000 is multiplied here, it will be divided here, so it becomes PV ratio is equal to 12,000 upon 30,000. So suppose if we calculate this, into 100, we'll have to do whole into 100 because we are calculating percentage. So you are saying 40%. Excellent. 40% is the right answer. So we were able to calculate PV ratio. So we have solved the first one. Let us try to solve the second. Second, they are asking profit when sales are rupees 60,000. Now what exactly we have to calculate? We want the expected profit, or you can say desired profit. If your expected sales are rupees 60,000, so there is one formula for expected or desired profit. Very good. Fixed cost plus desired profit upon PV ratio. Excellent. So let us use that formula. So we will say expected profit is equal to fixed cost plus desired profit, or you can say expected profit whole upon PV ratio. So if we put the value, that is equal to fixed cost is 12,000 plus, do we have sales? Yes, sales is given 60,000, so we can write sales here in place of expected sales. So let us write sales. Expected sales is 60,000, 1,80,000. Okay, let us try to calculate. PV ratio so divisible profit is equal to PV ratio. We do have PV ratio, so let us put the value. PV ratio is 40%. So if we calculate this, divisible profit, so it will be like that. Suppose if we take 40% on that side, so it becomes 60,000 into 40% is equal to 12,000 plus divisible profit. Then So 60,000 into 40% will give you 24,000. That is equal to 12,000 plus divisible profit. So now we can say divisible profit is equal to 24,000 minus 12,000. Therefore, yes, now you are correct. Divisible profit, or you can say expected profit, is rupees 12,000. So this is how we were able to calculate expected profit. So this is the expected profit if your expected sales is 60,000. अगर आपका 60,000 का sales रहेगा ना, तो आपको profit कितना होएगा? 12,000 होएगा. With the help of this equation, expected sales is equal to fixed cost plus desired profit upon PV ratio. I hope you are understanding, right? The next thing that we will have to calculate, the third thing, break-even point. Okay, the third thing is new break-even point if selling price is new break-even point if selling price is reduced by 20%. Okay, new break-even point if selling price is reduced by 20%. Now how to solve this? Okay, so what all informations we have, let us try to collect that. New break-even point if selling price is reduced by 20%. So do we have selling price right now? Because the break-even का formula is fixed cost upon PV ratio. How to calculate the last one, new break-even point if selling price is reduced by 20%? Let us see. We'll go for the third one. What we want here is new break-even point if selling price is reduced by 20%. we want, actually we have fixed cost with us. Fixed cost is 12,000. We want is new PV ratio. Now we'll have to think for new PV ratio. How to get new PV ratio? Sales to 20%, 12,000. The new sales that we got is 60,000. So suppose let me do some calculation. Lakshmi, even you try from your end. We want new PV ratio. What is Ajay? You're saying we must take 60,000 as sales, right? 20% comes to 12,000, correct? So 60 minus 12 will give you 48,000. Okay. You will have to reduce to 48,000. It should not be reduced by 48,000. So you're very much correct. Sales is given as we just now we found sales as 60,000. Normally what happens, we subtract variable cost from sales. Okay, so what is your PV ratio? PV ratio is 40%. PV ratio is 40%. That means variable cost will be, आपका PV ratio 40% ना? If PV ratio is 40%, then variable cost will be 60%. Because what happens? Let me give you example. Suppose selling price is 100. Suppose selling price is 100. Just an example. From this, if you subtract variable cost, let's say 60. So your contribution will be 40. Now in this case, if you see the example which I have given you just now, in this case if you see, selling price is 100, variable cost 60 and contribution 40. So in this example our PV ratio will be, can you calculate in this example what will be our PV ratio? we will have to apply the formula for PV ratio, which is contribution upon sales into 100. So contribution is 40. 40 divided by 100 into 100 will give you how much? Very good, 40%. So in this example, PV ratio is 40%. That means variable cost is 60%. You can see variable cost is 60%. If contribution is 40%, variable cost will be 60%. Same way here also, we'll have to assume that 60,000 is 100%. Okay, and your PV ratio is 40%. If PV ratio is 40%, that means variable cost will be 60%. So we'll have to calculate 60% of 60,000. 60,000 ka 60% will give you 36,000. So 36,000 becomes your variable cost. So in this case, contribution will be 24,000, right? This is how, if you calculate this, you will get PV ratio as 40%. Yes, if you calculate this, you will get PV ratio as 40%. So we are going on a right track. In fact, मैं आपको वही explain कर रहा हूँ that if PV ratio is 40%, that means variable cost is 60%. So this is how we were able to calculate variable cost. Now what happened? What they are saying, that selling price is reduced by 20%. So in this case, we will have to calculate new sales. Now new sales will be how much? As you said, we will have to reduce it by 20%. The selling price will have to reduce it by 20%. So 60,000 is the sales right now. 60,000 का अगर 20% हम लोग निकालते हैं तो it will come to 12,000, as you said. आपने बताया 60,000 का 20% will give you 12,000. Yes, so 48,000 becomes our new sales. Now new sales में से what we are going to subtract? We will subtract variable cost. And variable cost वो लोग ने change करने को नहीं बोला है. They said only to reduce about selling price. So we have reduced the selling price by 20%. हम लोग ने sales reduce किया 20% से, but variable cost लोग ने reduce करने के लिए नहीं बोला. So we will keep as it is. Variable cost will remain same, 36,000. पहले भी उतना था, अभी भी उतना ही रखेंगे, because we will not reduce it. Question में information नहीं दिया है that you will have to reduce variable cost. So now in this case, your contribution will be how much? So let us calculate. 48,000 minus 36,000. We will get 12,000. Now let us calculate our new PV ratio. New PV ratio is equal to new sales. Let me take this down. Yes. So it was new PV ratio is equal to new sales new contribution upon new sales into 100. So as you said, if you calculate this, we will be getting 25%. So our new PV ratio will become 25%. You are very much correct. So we can say that is equal to 12,000 divided by 48,000 into 100. So that comes to 25%. So we got new PV ratio. Now what else we want? We want what exactly we want? We want new break-even point. So let us calculate now new break-even point. So new break-even point is equal to fixed cost upon new PV ratio. So that is equal to fixed cost is 12,000, it is given in the question, divide by new PV ratio is 25%. So if you calculate this, you will get 12,000 divided by 25%. You are getting 48,000, correct, rupees 48,000. Done. We have solved all the three things. You can go through once. You see, this was the question. We were supposed to solve three things: profit volume ratio, profit when sales are 60,000, and new break-even point if selling price is reduced by 20%. So first we calculated PV ratio with the help of break-even point ka formula. We got 40%. Then the second thing was we were supposed to calculate expected profit if your expected sales is 60,000. So we were able to calculate expected profit as 12,000. Now in exam, what exactly you will have to do whenever you get this kind of answers, you will have to put that in circle. You will have to highlight your answer by putting it in circle. This is good from exam point of view. Put all the answers in circle. You will have to highlight this kind of thing. I hope you have understood, right? Shall we go for next question? Hello, Lakshmi. Shall we go for next question? Okay. So again, start copying the question along with me. Have you copied the question? Okay, so let us start. Okay, so let us try to understand this question. The sales turnover and profit of Mrs. Amit Limited during the 2 year 2011 and 12 were as follows. Year, sales and profit. We have sales and profit of 2011 as well as of 2012. You are required to calculate first PV ratio, second break-even sales, third sales required to earn a profit of rupees 2,40,000, and fourth the profit made when sales are rupees 15 lakhs. So we will have to calculate four things over here. First we have to calculate PV ratio. Now the formula for PV ratio is contribution upon sales into 100, but if you see the question, contribution is not there. आप क्वेश्चन देखो, क्वेश्चन में you will not get contribution. You have sales but you don't have contribution. और contribution जब तक नहीं मिलेगा तभी तक हम लोग PV ratio calculate नहीं कर सकते. Then how to calculate PV ratio? It's a difficult situation. How to calculate PV ratio? Yeah, this question is related to 2 years, 2 different years, and we want PV ratio. So I think you must be thinking we will have to calculate PV ratio of which year? Very good, excellent. So if 2 years sales and 2 years profit is given to you, then you will have to apply this formula, change in profit upon change in sales into 100. So let us calculate PV ratio. PV ratio is equal to, as you said, change in profit upon change in sales into 100. So if we calculate this, change in profit is yes 30,000 upon change in sales is 9, 10, 1,20,000 into 100. That is equal to, so if we calculate this, 30,000 divided by 1,20,000 into 100, you're correct, it's 25%. Excellent. So PV ratio we got as 25%. Okay, good. Now let us try to calculate the second part of this question. They are asking break-even point sales. So let us calculate break-even point sales. Break-even point sales. So BEP sales. That is nothing but break-even point. We'll have to apply the formula for break-even point. The formula for break-even point is fixed cost upon PV ratio. but we won't be able to calculate this because in this formula we know only PV ratio, we don't know fixed cost. Fixed cost we'll have to actually calculate first. How to calculate fixed cost? Because until and unless we get fixed cost, we won't be able to calculate break-even sales. So now we will have to think how to calculate fixed cost. Fixed cost, how to calculate. Let us see the question. How we will be able to calculate fixed cost. Okay. So we have this information with us. We have sales, we have profit, and we got PV ratio also as 25%. I think in the last question I explained you if PV ratio is 25%, then contribution will be how much? If you see the last question which I explained you, if PV ratio is 25%, then contribution will be how much percent? Variable cost, not the contribution. Variable cost will be how much percent? See, this was the example. I explained you about this. This one. Here contribution was 40. That means 40%. So variable cost was 60%. If contribution is 40, variable cost will be 60. So in this case, if PV ratio is nothing but contribution, contribution 25%. You can say this as contribution. Contribution is 25%. If contribution is 25%, that means variable cost will be how much percent? 77. Are you sure? Yes, 75%. Now you're correct. PV ratio 25%. That means variable cost will be 75%. Now, if you see, we have sales of both the year, and we will be able to calculate variable cost of both the year. Once we are able to calculate variable cost of both the year, we will get contribution of both the year. Once we get contribution of both the year, you subtract with profit, you will get fixed cost of both the year. So let us try to calculate that. Let me say this as particular, then the first year that we have is 2011. The second year that we have is 2012. So let me write sales of both the year. Sales of first year is 9 lakh. And sales of second year is 10 lakh 20,000. We subtract variable cost from this, which is 75% of sales. So if you calculate 75% of sales, so in this case, the first year your variable cost will be, you can calculate, you will get 6,75,000. Yes, correct. Same way, calculate the variable cost of second year as well. 10,20,000 into 75%. So it will give you somewhere around 7,65,000. I hope you're getting this. So we got variable cost. Now let us subtract this from sales. So if you subtract this from sales, you will get contribution. So we will say contribution for the first year is 9 lakh minus 6,75,000. It is coming to 2,25,000, and for the second year 10,20,000 minus 7,65,000. It comes to 2,55,000. Excellent. Yes, 2,55,000. So we got contribution. From this, what actually we subtract? We subtract fixed cost. So let us subtract fixed cost. Fixed cost, but we don't know fixed cost. That is what we are here to calculate. हम लोग वही तो try कर रहे हैं, find out करने के लिए fixed cost कितना है करके, but we don't know. Then what to do? Yes, we know profit. So let us calculate profit first. Let us record profit first. Profit for the first year is 1,20,000. Profit for the second year is 1,50,000. So the difference of these two, contribution minus profit. So 2,25,000 minus 1,20,000 will give you 1,05,000. Awesome. आपका आंसर करेक्ट है, 1,05,000. ये तो फर्स्ट ईयर का है. Let us try to calculate for the second year. 2,55,000 minus 1,50,000. We are getting same. Again we are getting, yes, 1,05,000. Same fixed, same ही मिलेगा, because fixed cost always remains same whether you increase your sale or decrease your sale. आपका fixed cost हमेशा same रहेगा, and same अगर नहीं आता है fixed cost, that means you are going wrong. If you are getting same fixed cost, that means you are correct, because fixed cost कभी भी change नहीं होता है. आप sales बढ़ाओ या कम करो, आपका fixed cost same रहेगा. So if we are getting same fixed cost, that means we are going on a right track. Awesome. भी marginal costing करने में थोड़ा मजा आ रहा है. What we want to calculate here is break-even point. So now I think we can apply the formula, because we got fixed cost, and we don't have to calculate break-even point for both the year. Break-even point we'll have to calculate in general, because if you see, your fixed cost and PV ratio is same for both the year, so we don't have to calculate break-even point for both the year. So let us calculate break-even point. So अगर हम लोग break-even point calculate करते हैं formula के through, fixed cost upon PV ratio, so we will get fixed cost is 1,05,000 divide by PV ratio. PV ratio is 25%. So if you calculate this, let's see कितना मिलता है. 1,05,000 divided by 25%, we are getting, wow, you're great, you're getting correct answer, 4,20,000. आपको तो marginal costing आता है. 4,20,000 is break-even point. So let us circle this, because this was the first answer. अपना पीवी रेशियो, हम लोग पीवी रेशियो को सर्कल करते हैं बिकॉज वो फर्स्ट आंसर था. देन वी विल सर्कल हियर ब्रेक इवन पॉइंट. I did one mistake. See what happens whenever you write this amount now, it's a rule of the exam. Please mention rupees as well, huh? Whether it is rupees or percentage, you will have to mention that, otherwise you will lose your marks. So let us mention rupees 4,20,000 and let us circle it. So हम लोग ने दो आंसर निकाला, पीवी रेशियो एंड ब्रेक इवन सेल्स. Let us try to calculate sales. Sales required to earn a profit of 2,40,000. I think for this we will have to apply the formula of expected sales, or you can say desired sales. So let us try to calculate that. Third, sales required to earn. एग्जाम में भी आपको ऐसे हेडिंग देना पड़ेगा, you cannot directly start solving. Sales required to earn a profit of rupees 2,40,000. We'll have to apply the formula for expected sales. Expected sales is equal to, एग्जाम में short forms allowed नहीं है, you will have to write full form, otherwise you will lose your marks. Right now we are using short forms like ES. ES means expected sales, but exams में you will have to use full form. Please इसको ध्यान में रखना, exams में always full form, no short forms are allowed. Okay, so expected sales is equal to expected profit, or you can say desired profit plus fixed cost upon PV ratio. So we'll have to solve this. So this is the equation that we have. Now let us try to solve. What exactly we want? We want sales. Profit दिया है? Yes दिया है, 2,40,000. 2,40,000. 2,40,000 plus fixed cost. Fixed cost कितना निकाला हम लोग ने? Fixed cost we got as 1,05,000. 1,05,000 upon PV ratio. PV ratio कितना है? PV ratio is 25%. So let us solve. That is equal to 2,40,000. 2,40,000 plus 1,05,000 is equal to 3,45,000. So we got 3,45,000. 3,45,000 divided by 25% will give you expected sales. So 3,45,000 divided by 25% will give you rupees 13,80,000. सही जवाब. 13,80,000 is our expected sales. So we got third answer. Now let us try to see the fourth one. Fourth में वो लोग ने पूछा है the profit made when sales are rupees 15 lakhs. So in same formula we'll have to apply and we'll have to calculate profit. So let us do that. Fourth, the profit made when sales are rupees 15 lakhs. Same formula, expected sales is equal to expected profit plus fixed cost upon PV ratio. Now in this case sales is given, so we'll put sales as 15 lakhs is equal to expected profit, we don't know, that is what we'll have to calculate. Fixed cost मालूम है क्या? Sorry, fixed cost, yes, we know fixed cost is 1,05,000 upon PV ratio is 25%. So now if we calculate this, कैसा होएगा calculation? 15 lakh, ये 25% डिवाइड हो रहा है जो उधर वो इधर आएगा तो क्या होएगा? मल्टीप्लाई हो जाएगा, वो साइड में डिवाइड हो रहा है, दैट मीन्स ये साइड में मल्टीप्लाई हो जाएगा, इज इक्वल टू एक्सपेक्टेड प्रॉफिट प्लस 1,05,000. सो 15 लाख का 25% कितना होता है? इंटू 25% विल गिव यू 3,75,000 is equal to EP, that is expected profit plus 1,05,000. So now we can say EP is equal to 3,75,000 minus 1,05,000. Let's see, EP is equal to minus 1,05,000. $2,70,000 is the right answer. Rupees 2,70,000. फिर से सही जवाब, फिर से करेक्ट आंसर दे दिया. So we got expected profit as 2,70,000. So we got all the four answers and we have circled it. PV ratio मिला हम लोग को 25%. Break even point we got as 4,20,000 and sales, expected sales is 13,80,000 and expected profit is 2,70,000. I hope you were able to understand this question. Shall we go for the next question? So let us go ahead. We'll go for the next question. Please copy the question along with me. this is the question which we have. Again, it's a very good question. Here almost we will have to apply all the formulas, because we'll have to calculate 7 different things. The recording of today's lecture will be available in past classes under my list. Under my list, you will have to click on past classes. The recording of today's lecture will be available. If you want to revise, you can revise it later on. So the recording will be available to you once the lecture gets over. Whatever we have done today, same thing you will get in recording. You can rewind and play n number of times the recordings. So let me know in case if you have copied the question. We'll start the solution. Okay, great. You have copied the question. So let us try to understand the question. A company annually manufactures and sells 20,000 units of a product. Okay, so हम लोग को क्या समझा? हम लोग को ये समझा कंपनी कितना मैन्युफैक्चरिंग करता है? 20,000 यूनिट्स मैन्युफैक्चर करके सेल करते हैं. So unit produced and sold is 20,000. The selling price of which is rupees 50. Okay, so 50 rupees selling price है. So we will be able to calculate sales. हमारे पास 20,000 units है और 50 rupees per unit selling price है. So 20,000 into 50 will give you sales. So 20,000 into 50 will give you how much? Very good, 10 lakhs. So 10 lakhs becomes our sales. And profit earned is rupees 10 per unit. So we will be able to calculate profit also. So 20,000 into 10 will become your profit. That will be 2 lakhs. The analysis of cost of 20,000 unit is material cost 3 lakhs. Okay. Labor cost 1 lakh. Okay. Overhead 50% variable 4 lakhs. That means in this 4 lakh 50% is variable. 50% बोलेंगे तो 2 lakh. 2 lakh is variable and 2 lakh is fixed. Good. So you are required to compute first contribution per unit, second PV ratio, third break-even sales in rupees, fourth break-even sales in unit, fifth sales required to earn a profit of rupees 4 lakh, sixth profit when sales is 18,000 unit, seventh margin of safety when actual sales is rupees 7 lakh. So let us start our solution. The first thing that we want is contribution per unit. So before we start, we'll have to do the marginal cost statement. So let us prepare marginal cost statement. marginal cost statement. Please copy along with me. We will give the heading marginal cost statement. Units produced and sold is equal to 20,000. Particular, then we will prepare amount in rupees as one column, and CPU cost per unit one column. So this is how we are going to prepare three columns: particular, amount in rupees, and CPU column. So let us start. The first thing that we are going to take is sales. Selling price per unit is already given in the question, which is 50 rupees. So 50 into 20,000, as you said, 10 lakh is the amount of sales. CPU is 50. That is selling price per unit. From this we will subtract variable cost. That first we will take materials cost is 3 lakhs. Then second we will take labor cost is 1 lakh. Then third we will take variable overhead. We'll have to take variable overhead, which is 50% of the total. So the total is 4 lakh into 50% will give you 2 lakhs. So now we'll have to take the total. So let us take the total of this. Three, 4, 5, 6. 6 lakhs is our total variable cost. Now this 6 lakhs we will subtract from 10 lakh. So we will get contribution. So we are getting contribution as 4 lakhs. From this we will subtract fixed cost. And fixed cost, in fixed cost we are going to have only one item, that is fixed overhead, which is 50%, the remaining 50% of total overhead. So it will be 2 lakhs. Now again this we will have to subtract so this 2 lakh we will have to subtract from 4 lakh. We will get profit. Profit is 2 lakhs. Okay, so this is how we were able to complete the amount column. Now along with the amount column we will have to complete the CPU column as well. So now let us complete the CPU column. Now how to get the CPU of this? We'll have to divide 6 lakh by now we were discussing about how to calculate the CPU of 6 lakhs. So what we'll have to do, 6 lakhs divide by number of units produced, that is 20,000, so it will be 30. So CPU is 30. Now we will have to calculate the CPU of 4 lakh. Again same way, what we'll have to do, 4 lakhs divide by 20,000 will give you 20. So the CPU is 20. Now we'll have to calculate the CPU of 2 lakhs. So 2 lakh divided by 20,000 will give you 10. Again 10. So this is how we were able to calculate the CPU and successfully we have completed marginal cost statement. Now what exactly we'll have to calculate? We'll have to calculate, the first thing is contribution per unit. So let us write here first contribution per unit is equal to rupees 20. We'll have to circle this because this is our solution. The second thing that we will have to calculate is PV ratio. So let us calculate PV ratio. PV ratio is equal to contribution upon sales into 100. So let us calculate this. Contribution we have is 4 lakhs divide by sales. Let us see, sales is how much? Sales is 10 lakh into 100. So that is equal to, let us calculate, 4 upon 100 into 100, that is equal to 4 lakh is contribution, 10 lakh is sales, so it becomes 40%. So our PV ratio is 40%. Let us circle this because this is again our solution. Now what is the third thing that we'll have to calculate? The third thing that we will have to calculate is break-even sales in rupees. So let us calculate break-even sales in rupees. Break-even sales in rupees. Okay, so what is the formula for break-even sales? Break-even sales is equal to fixed cost upon PV ratio. So let us calculate this. Fixed cost is 2 lakh divided by PV ratio is 40%. So that is equal to 40% will give you 2 lakh divided by 40% will give you rupees 5 lakh. Okay, so we were able to calculate break-even sales in rupees. So again we will have to circle this because this is our solution. Now the next thing that we will have to calculate is fourth break-even sales in units. So again the formula for break-even sales in unit is fixed cost upon contribution per unit. So that is equal to fixed cost is 2 lakhs upon contribution per unit is contribution per unit is how much? Contribution per unit is 20. So contribution per unit is 20. So that is equal to 2 lakh divided by 20 will give you 10,000. So we can say that break-even sales in unit is 10,000. So now we'll go for the next one. What is the next thing which we'll have to calculate is point number 5th. Sales required to earn a profit of rupees 4 lakhs. So we want expected sales. The formula of expected sales is equal to expected profit plus fixed cost fixed cost upon PV ratio. That is equal to 4 lakhs plus fixed cost is 2 lakhs upon PV ratio. PV ratio is 40%. That is equal to 6 lakhs divided by 40%. That is equal to 15 lakhs. So again we got expected sales as 15 lakh if the profit is 4 lakhs. Okay, so the next thing that we will have to calculate is profit when sales is 18,000 units. So let us calculate that. Point number 6. Profit when sales is 18,000 units. Now here we want expected profit. So expected sales is equal to expected profit plus fixed cost upon cost per unit. It's not cost per unit, it's contribution per unit. Contribution per unit. Why we are taking contribution per unit? Because sales is given in units. So 18,000 is equal to, we want expected profit, we don't know, that is what we are here to calculate. Fixed cost is 2 lakhs. Okay, upon contribution per unit. Contribution per unit is 20. So if we solve this, 18,000 into 20 is equal to expected profit plus 2 lakhs. So 18,000 into 20 will give you 3,60,000. 3,60,000 is equal to EP plus 2 lakhs. So now if you solve this, you will be able to get expected profit. So we can say expected profit is equal to 3,60,000 minus 2 lakhs. Now you can complete this on your own. Thank you.